Hey guys, so you know how we do our staff meetings and we bring our tools together. Christmas time, holiday time. Anyway, so I want to talk to you guys about like what coping methods, how our van applies, what we've been running into. We just got over a holiday with Thanksgiving. So let's just chat. And by the way, just so you know, we're going to have some people listening in. So be appropriate, people. Just kidding.
Yes.
Not that you have to tell our staff that, right? Yeah, we do. Yeah. So we don't have all of our staff on here, but we got a few. Anyway, I'm as you guys know, so when we look at our van, and this is like a discussion that I want all of us to have. Are we really staying committed to being in our truth? Because for me, as a struggler, so the definition of a struggler is if you're in your aligned space, your truth, if you're feeling strong, I am in direct, and I'm courageous and unstoppable. So that's my truth. If I'm in that, I'm feeling good, everything's going, my emotions are flowing, I'm communicating with people correctly that way. And if I drop into that hurt, anger, or numb state, it immediately, my coping method becomes, I'm in that place if I struggle to accomplish any goal. And that's really kind of sucks. Obviously, we know that, but it's going to come up, and for us to stay committed to what we know we need to do, getting through all the tasks that happen and all the holiday stuff, whether it's in relationships or even, working environments. So what about you guys? Tell me what yours are.
Well, I can tell you guys right now, because I'm like I host holidays and I have a lot of people involved in our different holidays.
Yeah.
And so for me, so just so you guys know, my coping method, just as a reminder, is confused. So for me, in the positive, I'm
I was gonna say, tell people like what that is that aren't, that are listening. So
so when I am in an aligned space, I am heartfelt. It's a gift to be with me.
It is, actually. I can attest to that. It is.
It is a gift.
Yeah, it is.
But anyways, but otherwise, what I'll do though is if I go out of alignment, because it's so many people, I want to make sure that we have to orchestrate what time's going to work best for everybody. I have to figure out the food, like if it's something where I'm going to go pick something up, how that timing's going to be, or if I'm cooking the different dishes. There's just a lot of orchestrating in putting together these holiday events. And so what happens though is if I go out of alignment, and I will just let confusion take over. The negative is confused and nothing makes sense to me, and I start going totally spinning out and going,
and part of that too is, right, it's like they're lost. I mean, you can actually see it on your face, or people that have confused, you can see they literally go into like, it's almost like a blank stare. They go into like a lost kind of feeling, right? Yeah.
Like I just kind of throw my hands up there. I can't figure this out. How do we possibly?
And nothing makes sense to you. You can't even figure out how to get where you're going. Yeah. So you just you shut down kind of that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I want to make sure I'm getting this clear. So what we're talking about is who we are emotionally during the holidays with other people. And we're either in our truth, we're either hurt, angry, numb, and we have our coping method that goes along with that.
Yes.
Whatever place that we're in. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. And if you're in your truth, right? If you're in your truth, which mine is direct, if you're in your truth, then your positive coping method of mine is struggler, which mine is courageous and unstoppable. That's in check. As soon as you drop into that hurt or anger or numb, as soon as you drop into those lower states, your coping method now is in a contrary, the negative, which for me is I struggle to accomplish any goal. So it's kind of like letting you know whether you're in your truth or not. I mean, if I'm struggling and accomplishing any goal, obviously something triggered me, or some emotional connection with somebody triggered me, and I dropped into my hurt or my anger or my numb. And remember, those stages they drop. So you can't go from truth to numb. You got to go truth to hurt to anger to numb. And hopefully I catch it before I get to numb. Right.
Yeah.
So when we're speaking about the holidays, we could speak about who we are emotionally with people, or even with the circumstance. Right. So let's say a lot of people have who they've lost and they won't be celebrating the holidays with. So the holidays in and of itself might bring an emotional hurt, or like it'll be hard to
Yeah.
stay in your truth with. But as a struggler, if you're courageous, you would be like, okay, I know what this holiday brings to me. I'm going to be direct. I'm going to stay courageous throughout it. And it's a good way to know whether you're dropping.
Yes.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
So a coping method, I mean, I know it's kind of like these tools are so, I mean, if you had only these tools to get you through the holiday, they would be profound. It would literally change the way in which you handled it. And I hate to just use holidays, but that's kind of the timeline that we're in. But if
Right.
you're, if somebody's watching this and it's in the middle of summer, use anything that you're going to address, whether it's summer break with your kids.
I mean, a summer body,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
A summer
yeah,
body.
there you go.
Summer's
Yeah.
coming up. My body's not. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, dealing with the, going to the pool with the kids or with the
Vacations.
grandkids. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids
Um,
having to go to their other parent during the summer months because
Yeah.
school's just ended. So, yeah.
Yeah. So really you can use any situation. We're just talking about it because that's what we're dealing with right now. We happen to be in the timeline of holiday.
So I didn't mean
But,
to
yeah.
interrupt, Annette. I'm
Oh,
so
no,
sorry. I
I'm
was
glad
just
you are.
trying to.
That's why we're doing it this
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Exactly.
And Lisa,
Exactly.
because yours is, so I think we all have we have to see if we have all of them. And I know you're an achiever. So tell us about your coping method and how it works for you. So,
Well, I mean, for me, my truth is forthright. My hurt is defensive. So when I get hurt, I get very defensive. My anger is explosive. People have seen that. And my numb is escape. I just want to escape. And my coping method is an achiever. So when I'm in alignment, I'm a role model. And
Yeah.
when I'm out of alignment, the visual I get is like the Tasmanian devil, just trying in a whirlwind, trying to accomplish things and never feeling fulfilled whatsoever. So
Yeah.
as I look at these holidays coming up and, dealing with health issues and things that are happening, I just keep on going, okay, be forthright in what you need to do. And you ladies help me out with that. What's the next step that I need to be forthright in? Because emotionally, I've been feeling less than, and I've been out of the achiever and just doing, as opposed to, like really centering myself and going, what is the first thing that I need to do to get myself back on track to being direct instead
Right.
of defensive about
well,
where I
you said
find
direct,
myself.
which is mine. I love that, but forthright.
right. So I just, I've been seeing that I've been defensive with myself, with other people, because I'm not in the space that I know myself to be in. And, it's like getting on with you ladies and just being direct in what's happening really, help shift me into a different direction and being back into that role model, as opposed to just
Well,
spinning,
and to that point,
the
Lisa,
Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, to that point, Lisa, because when you are forthright, I mean, you literally are being that right now. It's like you're kind of getting us into like, well, what is the concept we're talking about? And making it more organized. And the way that you're doing it is you're not doing it in a frenzy. You can tell that you're in your
Right.
forthright. You can tell you're in your truth. When it, like you said, as soon as you drop into hurt and then you drop lower into anger and then you even drop lower into numb, all of that, now you're in that frenzy and you're trying to task. Those of you that are achievers, you're trying to task and you can never, I mean, the task might get done, but you're completely unfulfilled when you're done with the task. It's
Yeah.
like, well, that
Yes.
didn't do anything for me. And when you're that role model, when you're in, everybody admires what you're doing because you're like hitting, you may be tasking, but you're tasking and getting fulfilled at everything you're doing. So
Correct,
yeah. Lana, what is yours? You're
I'm an achiever also,
Yeah,
just like Lisa. So
that's what I thought.
High
So I know I was going to say, as soon as I said it, I'm like, oh, I don't think we have questioner and avoider. No,
Yeah,
we do have
I'm
an
an
avoider.
avoider.
Malia, woo, woo. Go Malia, go.
Yes, I am an avoider. I'm avoiding talking.
What's
No,
your
I'm just
truth,
kidding.
Malia?
My truth is interactive. So for my avoider, I don't sweat the small stuff and I'm peaceful. And that, like when I'm interacting,
Mhm.
when I am not doing that, I definitely retreat into myself. I avoid everything at all costs.
Well, it's
and
like
usually when I
avoiding,
hit-
it says avoid dealing with any important issues.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Right. Yes. Because because don't sweat the small stuff, but then dealing with the important issues. Yes. So
Yeah.
if I don't want to deal with my important issues, because I've been triggered in my hurt, which is I get irked. And then if I turn angry, I get deflective, and then my numb is depleted. I just get really low and I just feel
Yeah.
like a balloon deflating.
Yeah.
So for the holidays, I think I really try to be in alignment with and be in the positive of my coping method, because it is so chaotic. Like just even being at the mall and like walking
Yeah.
with all of those people, and they're rushing and they're buying, and all of it, and trying to park. So it's like, don't sweat the small, I didn't get this parking lot or parking space. We'll go and we'll walk, have fun. We'll get exercise. It's beautiful. We're in Arizona. We can walk. So, I mean, from little things to that too, because in my family, like you said, Lisa, there's a lot of people that have passed now. And so
Mhm.
having those emotions around the holidays and making sure that I am, having that peace about it, and also addressing, the big things and being interactive with my family and not at a distance. So that's how I'm using it right now in the holidays.
Do you notice that? Because I mean, we're kind of using the holiday as an incident, like we said, because we're around so many people, but this could track, like, even if you're really struggling with one person, because we talk about in this particular module too, it's called the first module actually that we teach in the curriculum, which is understanding emotional patterns. In that one, it's really about understanding your emotional patterns to see, like, so that you're equipped, so you're equipped to take on anything, any situation, and you know exactly how to get yourself through it in an aligned, positive fashion, right? To make sure that you're creating like that opening for you to take on life in a passionate and purposeful way, right? So what happens for me is you could be in alignment with a situation, but then a person, right, interjects themselves and you're like, boom, you just dropped into your hurt or your anger or numb. So a lot of times people, I think with this concept, and myself included, we think I'm in alignment. I got this, I'm in my truth. And then they don't realize that you're in your truth with maybe one area, like you're in your truth with relationship, but all of a sudden something happens financially and you're like, boom, that hits. Cause now I've overspent, or, oh my gosh, I had a budget commitment to my significant other, my spouse, not to spend a lot of money on the holidays. And now so you're out of alignment with the financial area. Do you get what I'm saying? So we really have to keep ourselves kind of in check in knowing, I'm in alignment and I'm in my truth. But then when something occurs or a situation comes in that you don't notice that you process those emotions with, and that's why we call them clearing conversations, right? Because you have to have either a clearing conversation with somebody or you clear it yourself. We talked it out. Like Lisa was just saying, we got on our staff meeting and we talked out something that, she's like, yeah, I needed to clear that. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to happen with the person. You can clear it for yourself, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. The only one, because there's five coping methods. The only one we don't have on here is a questioner. So I'm just going to talk about a questioner because, so that they understand it. So a questioner is somebody that they make really great researchers. Oh my gosh. And I think we have one on our team, right? But they make really, really great researchers. But what happens, and they'll get you the information needed, you really want to have them. But when they go out of alignment, they question everything. Like they go to the point where they're constantly questioning. They go out of alignment. They're avoiding, like, even dealing, well, not an avoider. They're avoiding dealing though with what the facts are, what they're researching. So they start constantly questioning, and they're even questioning internally their own mind. So those of you that are watching this, and you're like, I think I'm a questioner, that's how it does.
That's definitely my daughter. It's nice to know
there you
her
go.
coping method, because when she gets, when I just see her off from school or whatever, I just go in, I kind of have to look at the definition again because it's not mine. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's totally doing this. So anyways, wanted to insert that. I love knowing it for my kids. Their coping
Oh my
methods.
gosh. I'm telling you, because, I happen to have, my sister and my husband are both achievers. And I got to tell you, when they start friending, sometimes I'm like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing? So I think it's really helpful when you do either the courses or what the other person's is, because it stops you from it stops you from blaming them, I think, or it stops you from, you have a different level of understanding and you know how to help them. So yeah, if you can, people are doing it together. That's why our staff it's so wonderful, because we catch each other all the time. Like, hey, you're going into your coping method. What is there something you have to clear? It's really powerful. I think it's one of the most powerful tools you can use, especially with coworkers, because if you guys, if you're willing to talk about it and say, hey, I'm a struggler, you're an avoider, you're a questioner, it gives you the power to be able to have a conversation of like, is it something that happened between you and I? Do you know what I mean? Is it a conversation that happened between you and I? Or is it just the situation that we're all really stressed because something's happening in the workplace that we're all having to, kind of deal with? So it's an amazing tool for that too.
And can I ask oh, sorry, go ahead, Lana.
I just want to confirm one quick thing. So we're talking about holidays and groups of people.
Sure.
You made the comment about you could be in alignment with one situation and out with another. It's the same with people. So if I have a room full of people, I could be in my alignment with one person and the other person sitting.
And what's your truth, Lana? Just for the conversation for us or other people when they're listening.
I'm an achiever, so and role model, and my truth is dynamic. So I could be sitting like at Thanksgiving, for instance, with one person having a great time, and then this person over here at the end of the table could just really be making me angry, which is, my anger happens to be vicious, and my hurt is sulky. So, I could be sitting here happy with you, and Malia could just be not irking, because that's her word. She could just making me vicious, and I could be completely out of alignment with her.
Agreed. So, and that happens. So, I mean, what we teach is that we would recommend you have a clearing conversation, if you can, with the person that you're dealing with, that you're out of alignment with, because the truth is, you guys have heard the saying, right? It's like, anger is like, I got to get it straight. Anger is like giving somebody, hold on, I always mess that one up. Anger is like drinking the poison and thinking the other person is going to die. Yeah, it's like the anger, the hurt. I always mess that up. The anger and the hurt is in us, right? So it's beneficial for us to have the clearing conversation, or, we always tell people, because sometimes, you can't clear it. Like, you can't have the conversation. Somebody doesn't want to. Well, if they don't want to, with us, we always do. Even if it's difficult, it feels like, I really, it feels kind of confronting. But at the same time, that's how you clear it. So if you're sitting there, Lana, and you're having the judgment with somebody else, and you're in your hurt with them, or you're in your anger, it's the poison's in us, right? So having you being dynamic and a role model to one person, and then this other situation over here is negative, being willing to either clear it yourself and find out what it is that is causing that with you, or being able to have the conversation with them is ideal, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had a quick question for Annette really quick, because I know I hope I didn't interrupt, but I'm kind of lost on what your lost looks like. Cause my mom is also confused, and so that between heartfelt and confused, sometimes I can't really notice it with mom, because she always looks heartfelt, even in her confused,
It's like when she's probably, so when I get confused, sometimes I'll just keep myself in a state of confusion so that I don't have to know the answer. Like, it's just because I'm not ready to know what I need to do. I don't want to have to hold myself accountable to following whatever that intuitive message. So it's like, if you're
that's huge,
right? And she just goes, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. It's like, it's a way to just not deal, because we do know, like, if we stop and we take the time and we get in alignment, we get grounded, there's an answer there, but we don't want to know what that answer is, because we don't necessarily want to follow whatever that direction might be. We're just not ready.
And so you stay in the lost place as almost like in a weird way, as a comfort. I can see where sometimes we do that.
Because then you don't really have to do, you just make it like, well, you just can't move forward. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
And do you start like, how can I help you? So you don't look lost, you look heartfelt, but you're still lost, and that's what I'm wondering. Like, do you then just get in and help somebody else so that you can stay confused with you, but still look like you're helping? And
well, you know how it is. You know, we really can still be like, even when we're out in something in our own personal lives, even when we have all that crap going on, it's easier for us to get into alignment for somebody else. So
Oh,
that
that's
actually,
true.
Mm.
I
if
could
you're
see that
saying
about a
so-
confused.
right, I'll leave. I could have a million other things over here in my life going on that I'm so confused about. But if you need me, hold on. Let me, you know what I'm saying? I can be there for you. And then that helps me get back in alignment. So then I can go back to my own issues in a more in a place to receive the message. You know what I mean? So
Totally get
sometimes
that.
it's just very helpful for me to help somebody else first, so that I then then I'm in that place of alignment to get my own
Well,
messages.
I gotta say something, because I know, we're going to have a big, long conversation here, but I wanted to say that there's a place, especially in a workplace, when you know that you are really clear that you don't want to address it, just like what you just said, you're like, I don't want to address it with this person.
Yeah.
And you almost kind of feel like the comfort of being out of alignment is a good thing. It never is,
Of
because
course.
it stops you from being right. It never is, but it does feel a little, it's easier to blame them. It's their fault.
Yeah.
They're the reason. They should be coming to me, all of those conversations. But it immobilizes us. We're the ones that are
does.
sitting in our hurt, our anger, or numb. So it's
Yeah.
never going to be about anybody else, because you're the one
Yeah.
dealing with, again, drinking the poison, expecting the other person to die. It's like,
Right.
what are we doing this for?
And
Makes no sense at all.
And that's what's so cool about doing this work, is being able to own, like, so for me, my truth is excited. So if I'm speaking of the holidays, I'm very
Well,
excited about the
look at
holidays.
you.
Except when somebody says something or I feel triggered, I immediately go to my heart is annoyed. And then
Oh.
then I'll go, well, shit, then that's when my confusion comes in. Like I'll
Yep.
immediately go to my coping method of confused, because now I got to deal
Well,
with
you can't-
this.
I mean, that was to the point, though. You guys, we cannot be in our hurt, our anger, or our numb, and not be in the negative of our coping method. We're trying to cope. It's our coping method to get us back into that truth, right? So it's always going to be the negative, your coping method, if you're hurt, anger, or numb. If you're in your truth, you're always going to have the positive, right? You're going to, achievers are going to be role models. Questioners are going to be researchers, confused are going to be heartfelt. Avoiders are going to not sweat the small stuff. You really want them in that space. I mean, strugglers are courageous. When you want to be in the truth, because not only for you, but the way it feels, it's freaking
Right.
amazing. Right? Yeah.
And knowing these things
Yeah.
about yourself and making a commitment like we all make here is what
Yeah.
we can, the commitment is to keep an eye on ourselves and catch it sooner. So
Yes,
if we can
awareness.
catch it in that first, when we first, again, I can be all excited, then I get triggered. I'm trying, my commitment is to try to catch that in that hurt.
In the
space,
hurt,
right?
yeah, instead of going all the way
Right.
to anger and to numb. I've said this for years and years, 25 plus years that I've been doing this, right? People go, oh, well, I don't think I'm in any of that. Well, it's because the numb state is usually where they come. When they start interacting with me, they're usually coming from numb. And numb is, truly, numb is the farthest from the truth, right? But
Yeah.
it's the most comfortable. Most people,
Yeah.
we can live a lifetime in numb. And you
Yeah.
can live a lifetime in numb. Unfortunately, sometimes, people are doing jobs. Like I've been in my career for 20 years. Yeah. And you've lived in numb. You've been interacting with people from a numb state. And it's just, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, the passion and the purpose is, it's actually it's very sad, but there's a lot of people that aren't willing to clear that. So
Yeah.
hopefully this helps people.
Yeah.
And one other thing I want to say that really helped me on the understanding your pattern, and that you have to go in that particular order.
Yeah.
For years before I knew that, I had a lot of judgment towards people that were angry all the time. And I just, why are you so angry? But when I learned that underneath all that anger is hurt, that they were never going to be angry until there was real deep hurt first. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I can have so much compassion. It's so easy to have compassion for people who are hurting. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? It's just, so
right.
it just put me in a more heartfelt place with people who are angry, because it's like,
Mhm.
God, there must be some serious hurt under there. And that touches my heart, so it just
Yeah.
helped me have a better understanding of what people are going through, so
Yeah.
that I can be.
Well, they're unprocessed emotions, right? Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I'd like to say, I hear what you're saying about angry, but I happen to have a brother-in-law whose hurt is attacky.
Yeah.
It's true.
That looks angry.
Yeah.
So, to know that
I know.
people's
And
hurt,
I don't know if
angry,
we've
and numb.
explained that to people, because when you're going through
that's
our modules, you're learning that,
Mhm.
and she's talking about, my husband. So his truth is sincere, and then his hurt is attacking. And so what's really interesting, and the way he got to that was, he realized, when if you get an animal, like you get somebody, they get caught in a trap and they start attacking, right? Or an animal that's hurt, they'll attack you sometimes. Well, that's his state. When he's hurt, he goes into attacking. So when you go through the modules, you learn which one's yours, right? So sometimes, anger doesn't always look angry to some people. Some people's anger is withdrawn. And you're like, well, they're really angry. They're not dominant with their energy, or you would think his attacking is that. It is not. It actually is his hurt. So that's always fun too, is I love when people are going through these, the modules, because they really find out what are their emotions.
Well, and I bring that up just because, Annette, for us to know that, when you're not in your truth, hurt, anger, and numb, who knows what it looks like whenever you're not in your truth. And we are quick to judge anger because it comes across when it might not even be that. It may be attacking as someone's numb, and they're comfortable there because they're able to express. And that's the only place that they express, is when they're in their numb, and if they had attacking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, that is,
obviously,
and very helpful.
Obviously the whole thing is about not judging people when they're in their hurt or their anger and numb, but you got to start with yourself. You got to start learning how to not judge yourself when we drop into those emotional states, because they're patterns that, we've got to be responsible and conscious and aware of our own patterns so that we can affect change in other people. So I think it's really about learning how that judgment is the killer of higher consciousness. I say it all the time. It's the truth.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, right. We're going to have a judge-free holiday. It starts with us, though. It starts with us.
Right.
So,
right.
Good staff meeting.
Hey, thanks. Hi, guys. Hi, staff meeting. Thanks.
Bye.